Well, now that I've been left deserted by those people, let's talk about deserted island games. You know, it's the age-old question. If you were stuck on an island with only those consoles and only those games, what would those games be? And before we start the video, I've got to give credit to Scott the Woz because he inspired me to do this video, and I think this list is going to be a bit different than his. So, might be a good idea. Let's talk about the rules.
These games have to be playable offline. We're on an island where no one else is here and I can't communicate with anyone, okay? And that brings me to my next point. I'm alone. No compilations. I feel like that's cheating. Also, I'm gonna try and avoid games that have older games within. I mean, really old arcade style games are okay, but as much as I'd like to admit, I wouldn't play them unless they're by themselves. Number 4, we're assuming that this already has all DLC pre-installed, and the one that this physically applies to, I'll mention that I'd replace it with something else if I didn't have DLC. Number 5, I'm assuming that I only have one controller too. No multiple hands on multiple controllers. Sakurai's a god, only he can do that. Number 6, there's 6 rules, and that means I'm gonna list off 6 games. This is basically a test of replayability, but I'm also really indecisive. Okay, so my rules aren't exactly the same as Scott's, but without further ado, let's begin. The first game on this list is decently relevant since I love zombies. Call of Duty, specifically. Treyarch games, they've taken a lot more of my time than I'd expect. Even though Black Ops 2 is my personal favorite, specifically because of nostalgia and nothing else, but maybe because of the fact that Buried is underrated, it's great. But now that we've established that it's zombies, this is the time I reveal why I wanted DLC to be involved. The game I would bring first would be Call of Duty Black Ops 3. This is the best zombies in all of Call of Duty currently, with 6 maps not including Zombies Chronicles, making the entire thing have a total of 14 maps. 14! High Rounds in Zombies is a place where I can relax and enjoy myself, especially with music, and if I have the option to do that in 14 different ways, not including the multiple camping or training strats or leveling guns, easily this is the best zombies offline. Gobblegums and all the online features would be excluded, obviously, leaving only the basic Gobblegums, which I am in no way opposed to. And Easter eggs! Oh my god, Easter eggs! Speedruns, I need to get good at zombies first, but altogether, excluding the ones that require multiple people, Easter eggs will be a crucial point in the replayability. But here's the catch, I'm including DLC. By all means, Shadows is good, but in no way can I play it for that long. Now, the rest of Black Ops 3 being multiplayer campaign, nightmares, and some free running game they all provide a good amount of content to just mess around with. As much as the campaign makes me want to puke with its storytelling, the gameplay is all around actually quite fun and replayable due to the upgrading of abilities. It would provide some significant amount of time, and may I show you? Dead Ops Arcade 2. I still have yet to beat a DOA, but this would easily provide hours on hours of gameplay and a ton of challenge. Now, mentioning the multiplayer, it's easily replayable, and though considered not the best, it has a lot of content. My guilty pleasure is the Nuketown Easter egg, and I mean it's infinite, and it's kinda funny. Men shoot men again. It wouldn't obviously be my main focus though. Now, for a second, let's say there was no DLC. Even though it's not the best launch zombies, if we exclude DLC, I would still go with Black Ops 2. Transit, as much as people don't want to admit, is quite replayable, along with the grief modes and survivals, and I could play Town for years on end. Now, the real revival of Black Ops 2 without DLC would come from the multiplayer and campaign. Black Ops 2's campaign's multiple choices would make a satisfying and replayable option that would hold me off for a while. And by far, Black Ops 2 has the best multiplayer. You cannot change my mind. I would legitimately love just facing bots with so many different guns. Altogether though, my first spot would have to go to Black Ops 3. Whew! Something I could already dump a whole lot of time into, even though I'd be missing the people. As I said before, I'm alone on this island. Now, how do we get around this depression? Fake people. Now, mix fake people into a JRPG of magic, and you get my favorite game of all time, Persona 5 Royal. This is my excuse to bring it. This game has everything involving social interaction, and includes an awesome mound of modes to explore. You could level 99 every persona, beat all the challenge battles, test every costume, and, you know, date females. I wish I could do that in real life. Anyway, this game is a portion of a life sim and a fast-paced RPG. I adore everything about this game, if it isn't obvious enough from my retrospective. I've replayed this game so many times now, to the point where I actually have over a month in time played altogether. It's almost a little bit of an issue, but a great issue at that. I'll also mention mini-games, these being 3 main ones: batting cages, fishing, and tycoon. Mastering the satisfying batting cages, strategically reeling in fish, and tycoon. Thieves' Den has separate challenges, 100% rewards, and basically a campaign for the card game that makes it feel like you're playing with your friends. This game altogether is an uber long game, and is super replayable with its multiple modes, difficulties, and personas to merge. Ain't that right, inmate? While we're on the topic of very highly rated games, I want to talk about my comfort food. I find myself returning to this game constantly, even now with all these amazing games releasing. 2017 was a great year for gaming, and this is really exemplified by my third entry, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. This game is an interaction between man and environment. Contrary to the mass belief, I've never really lost the luster of climbing a mountain or beating a Guardian or a Lynel, or even a Blight Ganon. Even without DLC, I adore the journey of this game. It feels new every time you launch it. It feels uberly curious and fun. You always find something new when you enter, even if you've already 100%ed it. Which brings me to my next point: the physical amount of content. Getting the medals from Kilton, even without a guide, takes a long ass time, and it's just genuinely enjoyable every time you try it. I mean, yeah, the Koroks are annoying, but I usually find more every time by just searching around. They would definitely last me a super long time, and the replayability of just simple fights, even the big fight with Ganon, just screams at me what a game should be. And man, this secures the Master Sword of a spot on my list. I think I even fought a Lynel today, if I'm honest. I mean, that game is definitely a challenge, and so is Getting Water. But a game that introduces infinite challenge that is also a fighting game, especially with high-level bots. Now, easily when people mention a fighting game with a single-player portion, Smash Brawl. Even Scott went with it. While yes, Subspace Emissary and Event Mode is great, even the trophies, I'm gonna have to go, for me, with Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Wait, he said the Wii U? Yeah, just so you know, I'm alone. You can't hurt me for choosing a Wii U game. Or, so I think so. I mean, really, it has replayability galore. Especially having a tremendously wide range of characters, only second to Ultimate. The trophies list is about as long or even longer than Brawl's, and in my opinion, are just satisfying to get. But the main portion here is the amount of game modes in this game. While yeah, you got Special Smash, Home Run Contest, and Stage Builder, this game introduces 2 specific modes that really end out in its triumph for me: Smash Tour and Master and Crazy Orders. Master and Crazy Orders are like infinite special battles, and even though Smash Tour isn't the best game, it's randomized enough that it's fresh every time you play. It's honestly underrated. I have a thing for nostalgia, and this being a game I grew up with, I have nostalgia a lot with replayability, and I can reminisce on my life while playing, making Smash 4 secure my 4th spot out of 6. When you think of games that last a long time, most people will think of never-ending puzzle games, like Puyo Puyo or Tetris. Many of these are arcade-style games, and though a lot of people would take Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Galaga, I would be more on board for Donkey Kong. Like most people in my generation, surprisingly, I haven't played a lot of arcadey games, along with, you know, cool math games. Well, yes, I've played the icons, none of them really hit the spot, excluding Tetris. Tetris was fun. The one that was constantly with me, though, was always Donkey Kong. I adore Donkey Kong. I don't know why I love it more than the other ones, probably because it's a sign of familiarity. I guess I like jumping over barrels, the classic hammer, just all of it all together, it's great. Yet out of all the games I'm going to mention, I would be willing to sacrifice this one. While yes, it's simple and almost infinite, and also really challenging, Call of Duty Zombies. Altogether, I give Arcade Donkey Kong my second to last spot, or kind of the half spot if I'm honest. Now, the last spot, and really the best spot, I have to give to a game that physically grew me up. A truly infinite game. A true sandbox, a true world-building experience. If it isn't obvious by now, in the amount that I'd love to create, this game and this spot undoubtedly goes to Minecraft. The commands, the blocks, the Ender Dragon and the Wither, it creates the most free experience that I have ever seen. I love playing survival, even if it's just by myself. Especially with the Nether update and soon to come Cave update. Woo! It's really just the perfect game to just play forever. If I actually learned to use Redstone, I could even make my own games. I could make adventure maps. And even though I know the answer to them, the process of making one would take a lot longer than I would think. Personally, whatever idea pops into my head, I could directly put into creative mode. And man, I adore creative mode. My entire childhood was around creative mode. Being into mansions, temples, or huge trees, I'd never get tired of building in Minecraft. I already love and adore this game so much, and in reality, it's the perfect game for someone like me to bring on a deserted location. This makes my list complete, and gives Minecraft the last but the most important spot. Now, before we end off, I'd also like to give some honorable mentions to games I would see fit, but personally, it's not my thing. No Man's Sky. Though it might get a bit boring or samey after a while, it's technically infinite. I haven't played it since release, so it may have changed, but in the end, it's a solid choice. Any Animal Crossing game. Same as earlier, technically infinite, and allows social interaction, even though it's honestly surface level to me. Skyrim, Fallout 4, Witcher 3, GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption, any huge open world game with a lot to explore. My pick here was personally Breath of the Wild, but it's the same idea. You just got a lot to do. And finally, a Pokemon game. As much as I love Pokemon and the mounds of replayability and Nuzlocke and one-mon runs, I feel it would just get meh to me compared to the mix of combat and the social interaction of Persona 5 Royal. Quick mention as well is any game that helps you survive. I mean, Cooking Mama, Don't Starve, stuff like that. I mean, they're a lot more practical, but it wouldn't last you much longer than actually teaching you how to cook. And Breath of the Wild teaches you Ratatouille type flavoring, I guess, so that's a plus. But altogether, that's my list. Black Ops 3, Persona 5 Royal, Smash Bros. 4, Breath of the Wild, Minecraft, and a maybe at Donkey Kong. If I was to shorten it to 5, it would easily be BO3, P5R, BOTW, SSB4, and Minecraft. But Donkey Kong would be nice if I could bring it along. While yeah, I'm missing an Animal Crossing, which seems like the best option, that game, even though I'll play it for a long ass time, in my opinion, it really does lose its luster. Just like eating rocks. It's not like any of this would actually be possible, but it's always fun to think about. I mean, this is a fun topic, and a classic for gaming. So, thank you, Scott.
But, I may need to go now, because if I don't find any food soon, I think my not so visible hunger bar is gonna deplete, and it's gonna start killing me.
The question is, have I learned anything about life?
We'll do that.
So just like Ultimate Venom.
Yeah.